A little girl, perhaps 5 or 6 years old, was clinging to the ceiling like a spider. Blood was dripping from her face. The blood landed directly on Natasha. The moment the girl saw her, she jumped down toward her. Natasha screamed and closed her eyes, but nothing happened. After a few seconds, she slowly opened her eyes. The girl was standing directly in front of her. She was smiling. Her face was pale as chalk. Her eyes had no pupils, and blood was dripping from her hair down her neck. She began laughing hysterically. Natasha screamed, "Mom, Dad, where are you? I came here. Why did you call me?" Suddenly, the bee buzzed beside her. Then, somehow, it spoke. "Keep going, Natasha. Keep going." Natasha followed the bee again until she reached another locked door. The bee circled around the lock. Natasha unlocked the door and stepped inside. But the moment she entered, the door slammed shut behind her. She looked around. An old woman was sitting on the floor, holding a little girl in her arms. Natasha approached her. "Are you living here? Please help me. I'm looking for my parents. Their names are Natalia and Henry. Have you seen them?" Natasha stepped closer, then she froze. The little girl in the old woman's arms was the same girl she had seen crawling across the ceiling. The girl suddenly began laughing. Natasha screamed, "Get her away from me! Take her away!" The old woman slowly raised her head. Her face was completely white. The skin around her mouth was horribly distorted. It looked almost as if it had been twisted. Natasha screamed and ran toward the door, but as she ran, she crashed into a bookshelf. The shelf fell to the floor. Natasha looked around. The old woman and the little girl were gone. She searched through the fallen books and papers. Suddenly, a file fell onto the floor. It was filled with old newspaper clippings about missing people. Natasha picked them up and began reading. She was breathing heavily. All these people disappeared years ago. Why are there pictures here? She searched through the papers until she found an old notebook. Written across the cover was Inspector Jackson's sand. Natasha opened it and began reading. It was the year 2000. A series of strange disappearances occurred in this area. At first, I believed it was a kidnapping ring, but every piece of evidence kept leading back to the same mansion in the forest. Everyone warned me to stay away from it, but I couldn't stop investigating. I met an old man who claimed he had built the mansion 20 years earlier. He told me, "Don't go there, sir." He said the house was cursed. Anyone who entered never came back. He told me that several workers had died during construction. Others had gone insane, and every day they found dead animals around the property. He told me that after the house was finished, his wife and children suddenly died. After that, he lived there alone. I began to suspect the owner of the land. His name was William. He bought the property for an unusually low price, and he built the mansion as a place where he and his family could hide. He was a dangerous criminal who had been running from the police. But after the mansion was completed, his wife, Mary, began losing her mind. She would laugh for no reason. She would cry for hours. She would talk to the walls, and she would scratch them with her fingernails. Then, one day, one of the servants found her cat torn apart. She was standing there laughing as she watched it. After that, the servants began disappearing one by one. Eventually, Mary was the only person left inside the mansion. She waited for her husband to return, but William never came back. When the police searched the mansion, they found evidence that William had actually returned, but then he disappeared. No body, no evidence, nothing. What was the secret of this mansion? Where did all the missing people go? Was the house truly cursed? Or was there a killer hiding his crimes behind the legend? After William disappeared, the police questioned his wife, Mary, aggressively, but Mary was almost completely broken. She could barely speak. It seemed like her mind had completely collapsed. From that day on, William was never seen again. Not alive, not dead. He never returned to the mansion, and he never contacted Mary. The police continued watching the mansion for months, but they found nothing. Years passed. Then one day, Maria returned to the mansion with her daughter. Mary screamed at her, "Why did you come back? Leave, I told you to leave." Maria was confused. "Why are you saying that, Mom? After all these years, aren't you happy to see me?" Mary shook her head. "There is nothing to be happy about. Leave. He'll kill you just like he killed your father. No one will survive." Maria stared at her mother. "Who killed Dad? What did you see? Please, Mom, tell me." But Mary only screamed and cried like a woman who had completely lost her mind. Maria couldn't understand what was wrong with her mother, so she decided to stay the night. In the middle of the night, Maria suddenly woke up choking. The room was filled with smoke. She looked beside her. Her daughter was gone. Maria ran to her mother's room. But Mary was gone too. Maria began searching the entire mansion for her daughter. She eventually reached the basement. There, she found her mother sitting in front of a blazing fire. Mary was sitting inside a strange circle. She was dressed entirely in black. Heavy black makeup surrounded her eyes. Her hair was hanging loose. She looked completely different. Maria looked beside her. Her daughter, Lily, was lying unconscious on the floor. Maria stared in shock. "What are you doing? What are you going to do to my daughter?" Mary answered in a strange, emotionless voice. "I told you to leave. Don't stand in my way." Maria stepped backward. "You're not my mother. They were right. They were right when they said I didn't know the woman my mother had become. Leave my daughter alone. What are you going to do to her?" Mary suddenly shoved Maria to the floor. Maria grabbed a large stone. She accused her mother of being responsible for her father's death. Then she swung the stone at her, but she missed. The stone struck her own daughter instead. The little girl collapsed into a pool of blood. Mary screamed, "You idiot! I was doing all of this to protect your daughter. I was trying to protect her from what lives here. I was performing a ritual to protect you both, but you ruined everything." Maria cried and accused her mother of lying. "You were going to sacrifice my daughter." That night, Maria entered her mother's bedroom. Mary was sleeping beneath the blankets. Maria grabbed a knife and stabbed her mother repeatedly. But suddenly, she heard a terrifying laugh behind her. Maria turned around. Her mother was standing behind her. Laughing like a demon, her eyes were completely black. Her face was unnaturally pale. Maria finally understood that wasn't her mother anymore. Something evil had taken over her body. The creature attacked Maria, but Mary grabbed the knife and threw it away. Then she knocked Maria unconscious. She dragged her downstairs and locked her inside a room in the basement. All of this was written in the investigator's notebook. Natasha continued reading. "I entered the mansion because I wanted to uncover the truth behind the disappearances. But from the very first night, I knew the old woman wasn't normal. Eventually, I found a room where the walls were covered in writing made from blood. That was where I finally discovered the truth about Maria. I realized the old woman was behind everything. The mansion had been built on cursed land. There was a spirit living beneath it, a spirit that fed on human beings, and that spirit had taken over Mary's body." The investigator continued. Maria was kept prisoner inside the mansion. She watched as her mother's body began changing. Her neck stretched unnaturally like a snake. Her face transformed into the face of the old woman. She told Maria, "Tomorrow is the night of the dead. I'll kill you and your daughter. Then I'll live inside your daughter's body forever. She will bring me victims, just like her mother did." Then the creature tore Maria's heart from her chest with its bare hands and walked away. Her body was covered in blood. Maria died. Her daughter died. And after that, I disappeared. The investigator's final entry said he had been trapped inside the mansion for 10 days. If he escaped, he would die. If he stayed, he would die. Natasha stopped reading. She was shaking. So Mom and Dad were killed too. There is no way out. I'm going to die here too. Suddenly, her bedroom door opened. The old woman stepped inside, leaning on her cane. "Don't be afraid. You're going to live here forever. Now, choose the doll that will become your new home." The old woman held out a small black doll. She was planning to trap Natasha's soul inside it. Natasha screamed, "Give me back my parents. Leave me alone." But the old woman calmly replied, "I'm taking you to them. Come on." Natasha ran as fast as she could. She reached the front door, but before she could open it, something grabbed her leg. A rope-like shadow wrapped around her ankle and dragged her back into the mansion. The front door slammed shut. Then all the spirits appeared. Maria Lila, the old woman, and everyone else who had been killed inside the mansion. They slowly began moving toward Natasha. Natasha desperately pounded on the door. "Someone help me, please. Open the door." Then she heard it again, the buzzing of the bee. The front door suddenly opened by itself. Natasha jumped outside and ran as fast as she could. The door slammed shut behind her before the old woman could reach her. Natasha became the first person to escape the mansion alive. A few days later, two friends were driving through the forest at night. Their car suddenly broke down. They looked ahead and saw the mansion. They decided to knock on the door and ask for help. But before they could even ring the bell, the door slowly opened by itself. The old woman appeared with a terrifying smile. "Welcome. Come inside." The two friends panicked and tried to run, but hands suddenly grabbed their legs and dragged them into the mansion. The door slammed shut behind them, and this time, it would never open again.